Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today, Jake and I are going to conduct what we're calling the 400 Shootout. We're going to run my ported 400 from Empire Workshop versus Jake's 400, which is completely bone stock. And if I sound a little under the weather, well, that is because I am. The last 8 days have been absolutely just up and down, starting with October 4th. The morning of Paul Bunyan, I had an arm injury, so I kind of have to take it a little easy there. And then, just the snowball started that day and rolled down the hill, just got bigger, led to a sinus infection and some other stuff too. We're not going to get into all that, but it has just been kind of a goofy week. As they say, there's always tomorrow. I just need to learn how to take things and roll with it. All right, anyhow, enough of all that. So we will then run Jake's 400 we're going to be running the 20-inch bar, 20-inch Duke's chain, full comp. It's only made like 1 or 2 cuts. The chain has not been modified in any way. So no filing of the rakers, no touching up the cutter heads or anything like that. And once we do the ported to stock with the 3/8 we're then going to swap over and put a 325 brand new chain on Jake's saw, and we're going to see what the difference is. Let me back up and just say that we do know, as you may have saw, in a race back in Labor Day weekend, that this saw and Jake's saw, he was running my Egan straight shot and a 325 round ground. We were neck and neck. I mean, neck and neck. You guys may have seen that on a previous video.
Racers ready, go!
That was close. Same time.
I was running a square filed race chain that I had made up, and the whole 9 yards, rivet thinning, all that good stuff on a 16-inch, and I had a 3/8 So it does go to show that 325 definitely helps out in certain departments. So I guess without a further ado, the saw has been warmed up. We're going to make 3 cuts, down, up, down, and then we'll swap everything over to Jake's 400. Okay, 13-inch, and I believe this is red oak. I don't know, it might be black oak. I think it's red oak. Doesn't matter. All right, now we're going to run Jake's stock 400 with the 20-inch bar and chain from Duke's. And I don't believe I mentioned on my saw, I am running a bark box and the Egan Performance saw air filter. So get a little bump in power there as well. But Jake's is bone stock, and saw has been warmed up. Give her a rip. on my ported 400, and this is where the sprocket sizes are changing. So we did previous runs were both 7-tooth sprockets. Now we have a 325-063 brand new out of the box Stihl RS chain. Absolutely nothing's been modified on it, and the sprocket size to fit on the spline on these bigger saws up from, so pretty much anything up from a 261, you have to go with the 9-pin. So we're gonna see how this does. All right, now we got Jake's Bone Stalker 400 with the brand new RS Stihl 325-063. And give it a whirl here. That's the one thing I will say, that those 063 chains, man, they are smooth. They're such a delight to run. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so that concludes today's testing. I'm just going to take a moment to share my thoughts, opinions. My 400, they're both awesome saws, don't get me wrong. My 400, yes, obviously it's been ported. Bark box, Egan air filter. And this saw in the torque department is just awesome. I mean, incredible. Yeah, I'm running standard 38050 on mine, and I think Jake's setup these days that he's probably sticking with, at least for a 20-inch bar, is going to be the 325-063, and that's going to be the 9-pin sprocket that fits on these saws. Now, I will say, the 325 chain is just smooth. It's way smoother. I don't really think you can lean into the saw as much, but you know, obviously it'd have to take a whole day of cutting and just, you know, swapping back and forth probably to get some really good verification on that. So what this boils down to, and it'll be on the video after, you know, Jake edits and runs all the numbers. If you don't want a ported saw and you want, you know, a little extra out of it, my personal opinion is this. upgrade the exhaust, whether it's your own muffler modification, bark box, straight shot, exile, I don't care. Open that up a little bit, get that heat out, get a little bit more bump and power. Upgrade your air filter as well. Then go to a 325 063. And I think, you know, if all you're really doing is just bucking firewood, that's going to give you a little advantage in speed. Again, you know, we had raced and the saw was calibrated, Jake saw, with my Egan straight shot on it. And, you know, he had modified slightly the 325063 that was on there. And really it was just rivet thinning and just a round ground. And, you know, as I had mentioned before, it was my 400 with race chain, 16-inch bar, 38050. And we were neck and neck. But, you know, if you're timber falling or something, like I know, I almost would guarantee my 400 would pull away, and I'm sure you'll see it on the video. I think that, you know, it definitely, you could really feel the torque in my 400 over Jake's. So that's all. You know, if you're on a budget and you're really after these 400s, and don't sleep on them. They're, in my opinion, they're fantastic saws. Even the fuel mileage is really good with those. But, you know, just a few things can really wake these saws up. All right, folks, if you're new to the channel, please smash that like button, share the content, and give a fist bump to the subscribe. Until next time, stay humble, everyone, and stay true to yourselves. Have a good day.